Hi friends, and welcome back into my studio. If you are new here, my name is Tammy Ernest and I am a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal projects. So I hope you are enjoying the Christmas season. It is going strong. We're actually expecting some snow here today, some flurries, blowing wind. I don't think the snow accumulation is supposed to be too much, but with the wind and the falling temperatures, they've already been sanding the roads and everything. So it's always fun in December to get some snow, I think. Those long months of January and February aren't always so much fun, but it's kind of festive when you have some snow flurries flying around in December. So we are a little slow in getting decorated. I finally have all my fall decorations down. That was a major feat in itself. And we started talking about Christmas tree, where we're going to put it. I think I figured out how to rearrange some furniture and put our tree in our normal spot. It wasn't so much where's the tree going to go, it's where's the furniture that's normally in that spot going to go. So I think I figured that out. But we realized that we don't have a tree anymore. That last year we decided to do a real tree. We don't normally do a real tree. I could count on 3 fingers how many times we've done a real tree. Actually, maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't know. It's not been very many. But so last year we did a real tree because the girls were both still home, and just thought we would make it a memorable experience going out and finding a real tree and bringing it in. So we did that last year. And so this year we're thinking, okay, we'll pull out our fake tree and put it up, and realized I think we got rid of the fake tree because it had been out in the garage and didn't look so great. And I think we threw it away last year. So suddenly we're in the middle of December and have no Christmas tree. Do you know how hard it is to buy a Christmas tree? Even an artificial one in the middle of December. So I kind of had this idea, maybe we'd do a real tree again this year, and then right after the holiday, go ahead and buy a fake tree at, like, you know, the discounted price. So I started hopping to different stores looking, and I'm not even sure they're going to have a tree that I would like discounted at the end of the season, because they're already sold out already. So I think I've found one, and at least it's still in stock as of my filming, so we'll see if we can get that in the next couple days and get a real tree put up. So back to my story, I thought, well, we just get a real one now and buy an artificial one right after the holiday, but I don't think we can wait. And then I thought, real trees are kind of expensive anyway, and if I'm going to be, I may, spend as much on a real tree as I would save waiting till after the holiday, if that makes sense. So I think we're just going to go ahead and buy an artificial one, and I think I found one that will do until maybe next year, or a couple years down the line later, that I'll actually get a really nice one. But for now, this will do, because I have to have something up when the kids come for Christmas. So we're working out details on plans, who's going to be here when and how we get everybody together. But it'll be fun. We're enjoying it. I've got most of my shopping done, a little bit more still to do, but I'm getting excited. So I have been doing some Christmas sewing, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But see what I have behind me again. This is the last time you're going to see this before it gets quilted, actually. But this is my joy-filled quilt that I'm doing. This is All American Gatherings fabric line from Primitive Gatherings, and I do have my border all the way around. So these 3.5-inch squares all the way around, I did alternate red, blue, and it works out perfect. Actually, I have the number of blocks that are around it, and with the sizing that they are, it works out perfect to do red, blue all the way around. It alternates all the way around. So I basically just joined 2 blocks together, then 4 blocks together, and then I did lay it out because I was trying not to get the same prints very close to each other. So I didn't use any of the low volumes that were in the Fat Eighth bundle. I used all of the darker reds and blues. I do need to go around this and just do, what do they call it, a victory lap around the edge. I do need to stay stitch the edges of this, because you can see I like to back stitch, but I don't always do it as I'm, if I'm doing strip piecing, or not strip piecing, but if I'm doing, what do you call it? You know, where I continue to put the next blocks underneath it. So when these blocks were joined, I'm just doing red and blue together, and I'm pushing those through. So when I'm putting these through, I'm just continuing to put the next blocks through and the next ones through. So when I get to, you know, the end of a line, sometimes I will backstitch, but other times I don't. So I don't want any of these seams to come apart. You can see if I kind of tug at them, they can pull apart just a little bit. And when you're putting a quilt on the long arm, if there's any seams right there on the edges, those really do tend to stretch apart a little bit if they're not either stitched over or if they're not back stitched right there. So I do need to do a victory lap all the way around because I don't want those to pull apart when they're on the long arm. Sometimes if they pull apart like that, they can get flipped back. You know, and I try as I'm basting it on the long arm, but it's just better if they're done tight so they don't pull apart, because sometimes you can have it fold back over itself, you know, fold back a little bit as I'm doing the stitching. So just to ensure that nothing goes wrong when I put it on the long arm or they don't stretch apart, I will do a victory lap all around the edge. And try not to, when you're doing your victory lap, make those stitches too tight. I have seen where the stitching is just a little too tight and it's kind of gathering up those edges, and sometimes I'll even go through and clip a few times along that victory lap just so that it's not gathering in the quilt top too much when it's on the long arm. I really want it to stay straight, not pulled apart, not gathered too much with the stitch there. So just be sure to check as you're running that through and doing your victory lap that your stitching's not too tight. So next step is to put this on the long arm. I'm super excited about that. I probably will wait until over the Christmas holiday and do that, and make sure I finish up all of the client quilts that are scheduled for before Christmas, and I need to get those done first. So this will be hopefully over the Christmas break from client quilting. So on to my Jolly box. I did receive this week. I'd mentioned to you last week it should arrive any day, and it did arrive. This is the limited edition holiday box that comes from Fat Quarter Shop. You did have to pre-purchase it at a lower price. There are still some available, so if you like what I'm going to show you today, you'll want to hop on as fast as you can and grab those that might still be left. These they are done at a higher price once you know what's inside, because you get the advantage from having it being a mystery. So actually, Fat Quarter Shop did send me this box, and I wanted to make that known to you. I did not purchase this on my own. They did send this to me, but I would love to share with you what's inside. So on the front is just announcing the Jolly Box 2024. There is a very nice coupon on the back side of this, so that is a super great perk from getting the box. And then they always include this card that shows you everything that's in the box and gives an explanation of each thing. So let me just start right off the top. First thing in here is Snowman Social. This is a melamine, I don't know if I'm saying that right, a melamine tray. This is exclusive to the box. There's no other way to get this one, so let me show you. This is not microwave safe, but it is dishwasher safe, and it has the whole, sorry for the glare, has the whole snowman theme. I like to keep snowman things out. Actually, I don't put any snowman things out Christmas time. I actually save all my snowmen and put it out in January. At Christmas time, we put out all of our nativities. We do a little bit. I have a few little Santa things, but we're not really big into Santa either. Not that we would do gifts from Santa, but my kids always knew who Santa was. But it's just a fun holiday tradition. But we do decorate with mostly nativity, reds and greens, bells, holly, all of that kind of thing. And then once the Christmas tree comes down, the end of December or the 1st of January, then I pull out all my snowmen. That way, to me, it gets me through the winter, at least for January. Then February, we try to do a little bit of Valentine's Day. And then our anniversary is in March, so that makes that kind of a fun month as well. At least something to look forward to. Our birthdays are right here the first of the year, and so it kind of gets us through those winter months. But I saved my snowmen for January, so I may, even though they have reds and greens on them, I may save this and put it out in January instead of right now. But this would be a great thing to have in your bathroom. You know, maybe have a candle on here, or I have a little tray that I leave in our bathroom that I'll set my necklace or my earrings or things on that I want to keep in a safe spot, even, you know, tweezers or nail clippers or things like that. You could use this anywhere in your living room and have a little display with it. I could see little greenery, or you could use it in your sewing room and dress up the sewing room. So really cute. We had, when we were kids, there were 3 of us girls growing up. Once we 3 were out of the house, my parents actually adopted 2 girls from China as well. So there's 5 girls now, but 3 of us grew up together at the same time. And we had little metal trays in our kitchen set. I want to think they had Raggedy Ann and Andy, or I don't know, we had several. And so this is what it reminds me of. It brings back memories of playing kitchen when I was a kid, and that's how we would serve food to mom and dad or whoever else was willing to play kitchen with us. I don't know. Good memories. All right. Just like every box that comes from Fat Quarter Shop, there is some pre-cuts. So this is a super cute line. This is, let me look. I think it is, put it too far away. I want to say the right number. Yes. All right. This is 12 fat quarters of the On Dasher fabric line from Sweetwater. And how cute is this? This would make great project bags for cross stitch. I love little little designs like this, almost kind of novelty prints, things like this for project bags. These are super cute. But it's called On Dasher, and so there's the red print, and that same print in the gray. So cute. A green with the reindeer head, and then this is kind of like a slate blue, grayish blue with that same reindeer print. This is a very classic red and green. Kind of feels a little vintage there. Some words with the reindeer names on them. Ooh, love this plaid too. Wow, pretty. And then here's a dot print. This one's in the reds and greens. Then this one has a gray background with reds and whites. This looks like a black to me. That would need to be used as an accent print, because that can do your eyes some wild things if you had too much of that. And then a red, and then that slate bluish gray. So let me compare this to the gray so you can see the difference. This one is gray. This one is kind of a slatey blue color. This whole line has, I want to say 36, 40 different fabrics in it. At least 36, but maybe a tad bit more than that. So they've picked out 12 to put into this fat quarter bundle. I don't believe this fat quarter bundle, these specific ones are available as a bundle on Fat Quarter Shop, but you can get the larger bundle that has all of the fat quarters, has a fat quarter from each of the prints in the entire line. So really cute. Now, they include a pattern to be used with those, and this is the whole snowman theme, Snowman Society. This uses the 12-piece bundle, as well as a button pack that I'm going to show you in just a minute. But this is all snowmen. Measures 54 by 74. Love this. Now, the only thing I would do different on this pattern is I think the snowman need hats. To me, they look a little cold. A snowman just needs a hat. So I think it would be very easy to add just a simple, another row. Doesn't even have to be as big as the sashing there, but maybe just like a flat black hat, maybe with a little bit of a brim out to the side. So it could just be whatever size these blocks are. I haven't even looked, but you could make just a skinny little sashing that would go above here that has just a little bit of a brim, a skinny black brim, and then a little thicker right over the top of his head to make a little top hat type thing. Doesn't have to be very big. And do the measurements so that it's sitting on his head, and then you can make just one whole row of them that could fit, or it could be added to each one of the blocks if that would be better. You just have to adjust the sizing of the sashing in between. That may be better. Instead of doing a whole row, just on top of each block, on top of each snowman, making the hat, adding it, that would change the sashing in between here. It would not change the sashing, the horizontal sashing, but it would change the sashing height in between the blocks, and then the height of the quilt. So it would change it a little bit, but I think it would be a super cute addition to add little hats on top of the snowmen. Also in the box are some cute buttons. This is from Just Another Button Company, and there are 2 different types of buttons included in this pack. I'll show them both to you. So there are little carrots to use as the nose on the snowman, and then there are black buttons for the eyes of the snowman. Super cute, and they're all done in this whole bundle of them. So if you're not familiar with Just Another Button Company, a lot of people use their buttons and stick pins and things that they have for cross stitch. But they have all different kinds of buttons. Every holiday you can think of, they have stick pins that are super cute if you're making pin cushions or I can't remember what, it starts with a B, but the little tufty things that you can make from cross stitch. I'm not very good at that. Cross stitch as well, if you wanted little stick pins put in there. So I have linked the company down below, Just Another Button Company. You can look on Fat Quarter Shop too. They have some of their buttons, but if you want to see the entire line that Just Another Button Company has, then you'll want to check out their website. They have holiday, they have bumblebees, they have apples, they have fall, they have Christmas, snowmen, I mean just everything you can think of. Lots of different carrot ones actually. So this is the, sorry for the glare, I showed you once, but this is the carrot that they use for the noses on the snowmen. Maybe you don't like the shape of a carrot and you want a different carrot. Maybe you want different carrot noses on your different snowmen. They carry about 3 or 4 different lines of carrots that you could use, or maybe you don't want carrots at all on your snowmen and you want something else. You can check out their company, but super cute. I like that they included this in the box. A note about buttons: if you are having long arm quilting done on your quilt, these need to be added after the quilting is completely finished. You can check with your own long armor. That would be if you were sending it to me. Most edge to edge long armors are not going to want anything like buttons on your quilt top prior to the quilting. That would need to be added afterwards. If you were doing some custom quilting, you can talk with your long armor. They may be able to go around buttons that were done initially, but just check with your long armor before adding any of those buttons. Now, also in the box is some Gutermann thread, and it's in the colors that you would need to add those buttons on. Super cute idea. So this is 3 spools. I believe this is 50 weight. Cotton 50 is what it says on the box right there. 100 meters of each. So orange, white, and black. This would be great for any holiday or great for any Halloween sewing that you were doing as well. This would match some of the things that we got in the spooky box back in October as well. So one more thing in the box, and this is Jolly Good gift tags, a sticker gift set to make your holidays a little brighter. This is exclusive to the Fat Quarter Shop Jolly box, and aren't those cute? I love the gingham and the holly snowflakes. I love that it says Merry Christmas, and just so pretty. So who can't use more stickers? I actually bought some Wrapping paper today, bought some bows. We used to, a long time ago, we would save our bows from year to year, and you'd have these flat bows on all the packages. So I splurged this year and bought fresh bows for all of our packages, and now I have gift tags to add to those packages as well. So that is the 2024 Jolly Box. If you are interested in this, I would jump over to Fat Quarter Shop as fast as you can. I have put a link down below, and grab one of those boxes before they're all gone. And if you're not able to get a hold of one this year, you can buy the fabric. That'd be about the only thing that is available separate from the Jolly Box. You can buy that fabric line. It's a super cute fabric line. So if you've got any Christmas quilting that you're wanting to do, project bags for your cross-stitch projects, anything like that, that line is super cute and would be a great thing to purchase. But if you're not able to get your hands on the Jolly Box this year, make sure you put it on your calendar for next year and put in your pre-order for when the 2025 Jolly Box comes out. So thankful to Fat Quarter Shop for sending that box to me, and I can't wait to work on that snowman quilt and add some hats to the snowmen as well. All right, and I wanted to share some other sewing I've been doing. The hometown holiday sampler. So I mentioned that I'd been working on some Christmas sewing, and I'm a bit behind on this quilt along, but I am still trudging through and getting it done. Not that it's a drudgery, not that it's painful at all. It's super fun to work on. So I have shown in the past all of my, oh, here they are. The letter blocks that I have done so far, they're all stacked up on my boards right here. Believe that I've shown you the other blocks that I've done. Here's a whole bunch of them that I've done so far. All different sizes, which is a lot of fun that we have different size blocks in here. So I think I've shown you all of these already. A lot of fun. Love the fabric line. This is Lori Holt's Hometown Holiday fabric line. I decided, instead of going back to letters, I decided I wanted to make some more of the star blocks. So let me find the name of the ones that I worked on this week. I worked on the Glisten Holiday Stars, and let me show you those. Let me grab a design board to put them on. Okay, here are the Glisten Holiday. There's only 2 of these. So these blocks have a 9 patch in the middle. They're different prints except for the background fabric. Everything's different in these. So the taupey color, nope, those are the same. The taupey color is the same for both of them, but the 9 patch is done with blues on this one, greens on this one, and then we have flying geese units, green on this one and blue on this one. Isn't this so cute? Like it. Now, I have starched all my fabric, and I am finding that these smaller pieces go together really well when they're starched. I'm also learning. I took my Bernina in to be serviced because it wasn't quite stitching right. Things didn't look right. So I took it in to be serviced, and he said, well, your needle's coming down crooked. There was a part that was broken up inside the needle where the needle inserts. A part had come on, so my needle was coming down crooked. Well, no wonder I was having trouble keeping my block straight. So it's still in the shop. I am using just a cheap Singer machine from Walmart right now, just so that I could continue sewing. But my blocks are coming out super straight. So wow, when your machine runs straight, it helps your blocks. No wonder I was having trouble with my other ones not coming out perfect. So smaller blocks, these are going together well. I had been throwing around the idea of purchasing a new sewing machine. The Bernina I have, I actually bought used probably, oh my goodness, my kids were little, so 15 years ago, and I bought it used at the time. Still running great. And so I had thrown around the idea of purchasing either a Juki or one of the Bernina, the Burnett ones or whatever it is that only does straight stitches. And I've looked at both, and I've kind of, thrown some ideas around. Do I want this one? Do I want that one? My only hiccup with buying a machine that only does straight stitches is, what about when I'm doing applique? I'm going to need to have a machine that can do the buttonhole stitch, or something like that, or zigzag stitch, because I like to do applique as well. So that's what's held me off on buying one of those. So I decided that I would take my Bernina in to get serviced, and as long as it comes back and he can fix that part and cleans it up, says yes, I'm good to go again, then I'm going to stick with that one for right now. If he gets back with me and says it really needs more than it's worth and it's time to look at something else, then I'll decide what to do at that point. But for right now, I'm just using really, it's just like $100, $150 machine from Walmart that's a Singer one. And I've told my girls, it's one of those, it's working great. Is it going to last a long time? No, it won't. It's all plastic parts. It's great for a first sewing machine. It'd be great for a young child starting out. If you were wanting, a 10, 11, 12-year-old to begin sewing, I think it'd be a great one for them to start on. It's not going to be a forever machine, but it's a good either temporary or for a first machine. I may pass it on to one of the girls if they want a machine for a little bit. I have some other older sewing machines that I passed one on to Maggie when she moved to Minnesota. I said, here, I want you to take this one, and it's a nicer machine, and I know if it needs any servicing, it's serviceable. It's not a cheap one. But that's what I'm using right now, and I'll make that decision after the first of the year about my own, whether my Bernina is still good to go. But that's my glisten blocks. Now you'll notice I have a little tag up here at the top that says glisten. One of the things, well, two things, let me back up. The blocks that are on the corners here, the flying geese units, not on the corners, but the flying geese units. These are done by adding a small square to the edge of this rectangle and then pressing it back, and then I trim off the edges so that I don't have 3 layers thick there. I do not trim those extra layers off of the back until I have pressed the top fabric back, so that I know I'm going right to that corner. I know where where it's square if I press it back to that corner. But one other thing that I have been doing is, before I trim off those 2 back pieces, I actually do another stitch. And it may be hard because they're in the middle of this block, but this would be the part that was trimmed off. And instead of just trimming it off, so this would be right here. So instead of just trimming it off, what I have done is when I have this, the part of the block that I'm keeping, when I have that stitch done, I have pressed the top fabric back so that I know it's square. Then I put it back under the sewing machine and I just stitch maybe a 1/2 inch, not quite a 1/2 inch away from that other line. I do another stitch across there, and then I cut off those back 2 pieces. Now they're already sewn together, and I can press them open and I can trim them up, and I have a little 1/2 square triangle piece. This would trim up to 1.5 inch square, which is a cute little piece, and I'll be able to use all of these extras. I have all my extras right here. I've pressed them open, I have not trimmed them up, but I'll be able to take these extra little pieces and make little, let me see if I can do it right here, little pinwheel blocks. How does it go? Like this, yeah. I'll be able to trim these up and do little pinwheel blocks. Now you could, if you wanted to, trim these away and then sew them together, but these are so tiny that it really works well that when I still have it attached to that rectangle, going ahead and doing another seam just a little bit away from the part that I'm keeping, I do it, just under a 1/2 inch away, and then I can trim up and press it open, trim those up, and I'm making a bonus block at the same time. I don't know what I'll use these for. I have a little basket that sits next to my pressing station that I throw orphan blocks in, and I'll use them for something eventually down the line. But, so, how fun. I don't want to throw those in the trash. It's just so fun to be creating a bonus block at the same time. So wanted to show you that. Now back to my tag right here in the corner. I have design boards set up with the different names of the different blocks that are working on. So as I come to a fabric, so for like the glisten block, this one, as I was cutting the fabrics for this, I will go through my pattern, and if there's any other place in the pattern that's using this fabric, I will go ahead and cut those pieces as well and just put them on the design board with the name of that block. That way, every time I'm doing a block, I'm not pulling out those fabrics again. I'm handling the fabric one time and I'm putting those on the design board. So I have a whole stack of this. This is the Shine, what's that say? Shine Holiday block. As I was working on some greens, I started doing the tree blocks. That's the outer tree. This is the holly berries. There's lots of stacks of green in there. The inner tree ones and the middle tree ones. Hope I didn't just drop something. But that's how I'm handling my fabrics as I'm going through this, so that I'm only handling the fabrics one time. I'm pressing them, I'm cutting the strips that I need, going ahead and subcutting the sizes of blocks that I need, and then putting those on the design boards, so that eventually I'll get to the point that everything will be cut and I'll just be able to pick up a design board and work on that block. I didn't go through the whole pattern and do this at the beginning. To me, that's a little daunting, but as I'm working on one block, as I'm working on the next block, and then I'll cut those pieces and put them in there. Now, I didn't start out doing it that way, so I do have some of the pieces in here that I cut early on, and I need to figure out which design board they go on and go ahead and attach those, or not attach them, but set them on those design boards so that they're ready. So I just have this in one of my little enameled tins. These are the blocks that I finished. They're small enough that they fit in here. My larger ones I do keep on design boards so they're flat, everything's staying flat until I'm ready to piece it into the quilt. But that's my progress on the Hometown Holiday sampler quilt. I hope you're working along with me, and maybe you're tagging along behind like I am, and we'll keep each other motivated, okay? I'll keep sharing my progress, but hope to be working on this over the holiday as well. It'll be a lot of fun to work on. So that's all of my personal sewing for today, and how about we look at some customer quilts? I'd like to share two quilts by Linda today. This first one measures 84 by 109. This is a gift, so stay quiet. This, she said, was a kit by Missouri Star. I don't have the exact kit to link for you, but you could look for it if you wanted to on that website. I wasn't able to find it, but maybe you can find something similar. The fabric line is by Basic Gray, and it is called Boudoir, B-O-U-D-O-I-R. How am I doing on my French? So really pretty. I love the blacks and the grays and the taupey color. I just love, love, love it. So the blocks, you can see, so here's a larger block right here. And I'm not exactly sure how this is done to put together, whether it's foundation paper, whether it's half square triangles with some easy corner triangles. I could kind of see it being done that way as well. But it's very planned out in that we have this center black here. But then notice when we have white on the edge of this block. So if this is your block, notice when we have this white edge right here with another little easy corner triangle, when we pair that with the block next to it, then we get this secondary effect with a white square or white diamond there as well. So each block, so the smaller block is right here, probably measures, I don't know, 6 inches or so, and it's got all the fabrics on a diagonal. Same block here, just turned a different way. When you put 4 of those together, then you create that inner black diamond, and then you create the white diamond in the opposite one. So really, really neat. You're making one block. One block. The entire quilt is made from one block. Obviously lots and lots of them, but one block, and then you're creating this whole quilt. So it's really, really pretty. Then there are a couple borders on here. You have a skinny black border and then a larger black and gray taupey cream border on there as well. Really pretty. The backing fabric is also from that same line. I like that it's the light color on the back. We've got a darker, heavier quilt top on the front, and then by pairing that with a lighter color on the back and the same colorways, the same fabrics, in that it's the same motifs and design on this one, just shrunk down a little bit, kind of a medium, maybe, you know, kind of a medium scale on the back, but I like that it's the lighter. It keeps that quilt really light and not feeling just super dark and heavy. So a really nice size quilt. For the pantograph, I don't know how well you can see this, but Linda had asked for fleur-de-lis. She said this is going to family members who love the saints in Louisiana, New Orleans. It was coming to me, you know, New Orleans Saints. So she asked, football. So she asked if we could use the fleur-de-lis symbol. And so I sent her several designs. Who knew that they were fleur-de-lis? And I've seen more of those since I've even done this quilt. So you just never know what pantographs are out there until you go just looking for them, or sometimes you can't always find them by the name. Thankfully, this one was done by the name. But fleur-de-lis shield, and let me pull this in again so you can kind of see. Hopefully you can see. I did use, I used cream color on this one because the back fabric was a creamier color. I did use cream on the front as well, so it blends in really nice. It's not a you know, not too bright on those. You got a lot of creamier fabrics in here as well. So the fleur-de-lis, let me see if you can see the symbol right here. How well you can see that. A little symbol right here. It does a couple little swirls, different directions, and then you have the symbol again. So I'll pull it in close, maybe you can see it. Really cute. Really nice job. So that'll be a nice addition. Again, this quilt top is so busy that you're really not going to see the design of the quilting until you get in much closer, but that'll be a nice effect for the owners of this. They will appreciate that she thought so thoughtfully about them and what they liked, and that you'll be able to see that once you get in closer. So really nice job, Linda. Linda's second quilt is just as cute, just totally different. This is a kit by Shabby Fabrics. This is called Unicorn Love. It is available as a kit. You could also just buy the fabrics. The fabrics are done by Clothworks, and that is also called Unicorn Love. So you have some pieced or some panel pieces, you know, that have been fussy cut and put into. I love the sashing, so you can see the block right here. So 2 rows of sashing around each side of the block, and then done a 4 square on the corners. And then you have another purple sashing in between the blocks with the green sashing. So when you have these 4 squares here on the corners of this block, and then you have the green as your cornerstone with the purple, then you get this whole nother effect right here. This is not, you know, from my looking at this, the block is right here with the sashing, but look at the secondary effect you get again here with the 4 patches and the lattice work in between. I love that. Love secondary designs. So it looks like 12 panel pieces, 12 blocks, and then you have the sashing in the purple, and then there is a green border, kind of a tealy green, aqua marine green with the unicorns flying, and then the backing fabric is the pink in that same design, and just with the unicorns, and they're leaping, they're standing, they're sleeping maybe. They just look really cute. For the pantograph on this one, Linda asked for rainbow hearts, or maybe I suggested it. I just think unicorns, rainbows, hearts, it all goes together. You can see some of the sashing print, some of the borders around the blocks have the rainbow in there. So we are repeating that just a little bit. The heart is a nice feature. This is again a gift for someone. hearts, rainbows, unicorns, they all just go together so well. The fabric on, or the thread on this one is, it looks cream. I didn't write it down, but this is cream color thread. I think it blended better without being too bright with the white. This is Bright Quilts. Again, you could have used white and it's not going to be a problem. I just like the cream a little bit better with the backing on this one, and I don't know. Sometimes you just got to lay them out and say, this is what I like, and this looks good. A white would have been fine too, but I did use cream on this one. So very, very cute. I have 3 quilts to share with you that are Nancy's, and this first one is called Pinwheel Stars, and she said she created this on her own using Lori Holt fabrics. So I really, really like this one. So she said this was all either from, let me find the right page. All right. Lori Holt fabrics from a grab bag of 5-inch squares. So really, really cute. She created this design on her own. This measures 62 by 62. I love the secondary effects that come from what she has done here. So you can see right here we have a pinwheel. So a pinwheel is just created from half square triangles. So 4 half square triangles done in a pinwheel fashion. Around that, then she has done flying geese units, and they're all in different blues. So you have the flying geese unit on top, bottom, both sides, all right? Then in the corner of the block, she has done another half square triangle, and she's done all of these in yellow. Let me pull this down just a little bit. Okay, I think you can see that a little bit better. So here's the pinwheel in the middle, the flying geese units. Now, let me look. Actually, they're not flying geese units. These are actually half square triangles. So she's done half square triangles on all the corners, or on all the sides, to make it look like flying geese units. I mean, it could be done in a flying geese unit as well if you wanted to. But remember, she had all 5-inch squares. So in looking at this closer, these are all 5-inch squares as well, turned so that we create the star effect. And then on the corners of this block, she has more half square triangles, all done in yellows. And notice they're all turned to the outside, okay? So that's the block right there. Pinwheel, half square triangles to create the flying geese units, and then half square triangles on the corners to create that yellow spot, that yellow on the corners, okay? So here's the block next to it. This one has a low volume in the middle, but it is a pinwheel. We have red half square triangles to create the flying geese units, and then she has done like an aqua blue on each of the corners of that one. So that is the block, but notice what happens when you put them together. So when I put the blue star next to the red star, I get this secondary effect right here that looks like a square and a square. I also get this secondary one right here, which has got the 4 half square triangles that are on the edge of these 4 blocks intersecting, and then we've got this scrappy looking square and a square right here. Isn't it so cool? I just love the secondary effects that are created. All half square triangles, all half square triangles. So you could use your favorite charm packs. You could put several charm packs together. The reds are different on each one, but she's used all Lori Holt fabrics, so they all match. And so she's used different reds, different blues. The pinwheels are all the same fabric inside here, the 4 pinwheels. Actually on this blue one it's not, so you could even alternate that. So a great, great pattern. This is something you could do on your own. All half square triangles and lay them out in different ways, and I just love the effect that she's done with this. She's done pinwheel blocks in the corners, okay? But notice she did a white sashing and then a pieced border as well. So a white border and then a pieced border and then another white border around the outside edge, and that creates the entire Yeah, the pinwheel block is on the corner. So we're basically, she has 3 borders all together. Those are done on the side, the 2 sides. And then she's done the 3 borders all together, join that with a pinwheel block, and then you can put that across the top and the bottom. But that way you get these corners that are the pinwheel blocks, and then you've got the border, the scrappy border all along there. Let me look again. These are not, she's used, I'm sure she's used the 5, the charm pack, cut it in half to get these strips here. This is more yardage. It's all, or it's 5-inch. Sorry, I'm trying to look. It's more yardage. It looks like it's more yardage and not just all 5-inch squares. Some of them are 5-inch squares, but others are larger yardage. But it's all tone on tone, a white on white, so it all blends really, really nicely. So the backing fabric, she asked for a white. So I picked out a white tone on tone. It's really hard to see whites on camera, but this is just a white vine, white on white. So the pantograph on this one, she asked for the 60s Mod Butterfly, and I love this pantograph. This is a Julie Hurt pantograph. Now this actually stitches out this way so that your lines are horizontal. But in the pantograph itself, if I was displaying this quilt, I would have the butterflies running down, but it stitches out horizontal. So when you pull this into your program, it's going to stack the butterflies. So let me show you this way. It is going to stack the butterflies almost like their wings are on top of each other. So, okay, I just flipped the orientation of the quilt so you could see how it's stitched out, a little easier to hold that way. So when you pull this into Pro Stitcher, your lines, or whatever your program is, your lines are going to be this way. I didn't make this super tiny. I kind of tried to make it proportional to the size of the blocks and just the feel of the quilt. So this is probably 5 inches tall is about, which would make sense because the triangles, or the half square triangles, were done with 5-inch squares. All right, so it stitches out in rows. When you first pull this into your program, it's going to have the butterfly wings stacked on top of each other. So this butterfly would be stacked right on top of the next butterfly and top of the next butterfly. You could stitch it out that way and it would be absolutely fine. You can get so many different pantographs just by changing the orientation of the rows. I like to offset it just a tad bit so that the butterfly wings of the next row kind of go up just a tad bit into the negative, or to the empty space of the butterfly below. I can get the rows a little closer together by doing that and not have as much space in between the rows. So by offsetting it, and I don't do it by half a row because that's not exactly, it doesn't fit with this pantograph. A lot of times you can offset your row by half and it will, instead of being stacked on top, it'll like checkerboard it like that. With this one, I actually hand do it. I changed the row. On Pro Stitcher, it has row and you can push the half button, or you can just change it manually. And I change it manually for this one because it's not exactly half of the pantograph. So I orient it enough, I move the next row over just enough that it fits up inside the empty space of the wings above it. So you can do it however you want. That's the way I like to do it. I did use white thread on this one. Backing fabric is white, the background fabric is white, and so that Omni Natural White was the perfect fit for it. Really cute. Nancy's second quilt is a batik quilt, and she said she used a layer cake. She cut a layer cake into fourths, and also a batik jelly roll for the sashing. So she calls this 4 square with batiks, and again, this is her original design, measures 58 by 58. So you can see the 4 square right here, just 4. You can take your layer cake, cut it in fourths, and then swap out the yardage. You could cut it in half, join it with another one, cut that one in half, join that with another one, depending on how scrappy you want to get. So she has a 4 square here, and then she has done sashing in between the squares, and I'm looking. She's done it different for each one. None of it is long sashing. So just short strips in between each one, short strips on the bottom of each one as well, so that the entire block is like that, and then she's joined all those together. So purple on all of the vertical, green on all of the horizontal, and then another batik border, and then a light batik border around the edge. She asked that I pick out a backing for this one, so I chose this purplish lilac color batik. I like the design on this one. We have a lot of spotty florals, that kind of thing on the front. Very square with the 4 square pantograph, or the 4 square design. So I kind of like this purpley batik here. It didn't have the florals. I wasn't trying to match the florals, but just a little bit of a dot dash type of look on that one. The pantograph on this one is called Ginger Snap, and let me see how well you can see that. Ginger Snap does a circle inside of a circle, swirls out and does 3 loops, and then does another circle inside of a circle. It's going to be a little hard to tell on all those fabrics. This is a light gray thread. I like the look of light gray on a lot of batiks. I think it blends really nicely. I'm not trying to compete with those batiks. Batiks have a life of their own. They're very bright, usually very busy, and so the thread color just needs to blend in. I liked her choice of the Ginger Snap on this one. It kind of gave it the Ginger Snap almost kind of looks like a flower. It's just a circle inside of a circle, but it just has the kind of look of a seed head or something like that. This adds in some spiral, adds in some circular movement with the square boxy piecing on the front. It just softens it up a little bit and is a nice complement to all those batiks. So that is Nancy's second quilt. Nancy's third quilt uses the Clover and Dot fabric line from Allison Harris. That was done for Wyndham Fabrics. She said she received some of this in a Sew Sampler box, and then she also had a jelly roll of it. Love the blues and the greens and the mustardy yellows and the peachy oranges. It's really, really cute. She did log cabins. Said she didn't know the designer of this, but log cabin is a classic block, and if you've not done log cabins before, I have linked some resources down below. So Fat Quarter Shop does have a free PDF that you can look at that gives some sizes. I don't know the sizes exactly of Nancy's log cabins, but there is a free PDF if you've never done log cabins before. That PDF is going to also refer you to a Creative Grids ruler that will help you trim up your log cabins. So you can do this with exact piecing. You know the size of this piece, the size of the next piece that you're adding. So that's how a log cabin is done. You start it with a center square, you add the same size square next to it on the light side, and then a light side on the bottom half of that, and then you just continue to add strips around. Log cabin is normally done with a light side and a dark side. Sometimes it's all one color on one side and all light colors on the other side. This one gives it a scrappy feel by having some, she's always done the red in the center, And looking at it, she's always done the yellow next, and then an orangey color or reddish color next. So she's keeping the same color scheme, but she's changing fabrics in between each one. But when she does that, then when she joins the blocks, she's always got the reds, the yellows, the oranges, and then the blues and the greens are the ones that are meeting up when those blocks are attached. So you can download that free PDF and look at the instructions on there. It is going to lead you to a Creative Grids ruler that you can purchase that would help you to trim up your blocks and to make sure that they're getting them square, because each time you're adding a piece, you're pressing that back and then you're adding your next piece. So you want to make sure they're really square. Another tool that you can use is foundation paper. If you don't like all of the measurements and that kind of thing, you can use foundation paper, where as long as you're stitching on those correct lines, everything should line up really perfect. And I've linked that down below as well. I also put in the description down below a small booklet that is all about log cabins. So it shows you how to create the log cabins, but then gives you lots of different patterns to use, because with log cabins, depending on the way you turn your blocks, you get so many different designs. So this one she's done in a stair step. Nancy has turned the blocks so the dark side is down, and then here we have the dark side up, and then the next row up we have the dark side down and the dark side up, and so that creates that rail fence or the stair step going up the quilt. If you oriented it so you had all of the blue centers towards the middle, then you get a nice diamond effect with the darks in the middle. You can orient it with all of the whites in the middle, and then you get the nice diamond with the white in the middle, and then that creates your secondary pattern with the darks. And so many different ways you can do this, so many different sizes you can do it, but log cabin is a pretty classic block and a great skill builder if you've never used it before. So Nancy also added a white border around the outside edge of those log cabin blocks, and then she's done a piano key border all around the edge using all 2.5 inch squares. She said she had jelly roll, so I'm sure that's what she's used, is just created a nice scrappy effect with all the jelly rolls around the outside. Very, very cute. Love the springiness and the brightness of this entire quilt. For the backing, she asked that I just find a white on white backing. So this one is a different one than I put on the other one, but just again, just a floral white on white. For the pantograph, she asked that I use Sweet Indigo, and this is a really cute pantograph. So it has a flower right here. Indigo, I guess, is the flower. Each petal almost has a heart type shape. It's got a little indentation on the very top, so that it almost looks like a heart. So there are 6 of those petals, a nice circle for the center. It does have a leaf, and that leaf echoes itself 3 times, so it's got a nice dimension there, and then a couple swirls, and then it kicks out and then does another Sweet Indigo flower next to it. So I did this in a white thread, again with white background fabric here, white on the backing. White was the perfect choice for this, and again, it's the Omni Natural White. I like that one better than that bright white one, so works really well. Final measurements on this quilt were 69 by 69. Just a beautiful quilt. You did a really nice job, Nancy. This quilt is done by Sandra, and this measures 81 by 94. And Sandra says this is her design, except for the unicorn applique in the middle. That was designed by Maddie Hastings, and I have linked that down below. Very, very cute. Love this nice big unicorn, all the different florals. Let me pull this down just a little bit. So you can see the nice florals on the headdress of the unicorn, and this applique is It's stitched around the very edges, so the applique part is very minor. You're not going to see a lot of that. Love the teal and the purple. She's done that on a purple background. And then she has added in panels. So she has used this, she has fussy cut some panels from Believe in Unicorns fabric line. She's done those on the 4 corners. You can see those. And then again on the 4 corners down at the very bottom. She's set some 4 patches on point. She's done a really nice job. She's got checkerboard here, but I like how she's done the teal in a diagonal and then the purple in a diagonal, and then she does that all the way around the center. She's used some yardage that's more like a border print around that, and then she's just done a really nice job of adding so many dimensions into this quilt. And then the large diamonds on the side or triangles on the side, and then the diamonds. Just really, really nice work here that she's done. And the backing fabric, she's used a flannel print that has the unicorns and the castles on the front and the pink color. So pretty. So the pantograph on this one is called Siren, S-I-R-E-N, Siren. And I like this one. This is one that Sandra said, I'd like you to do this on my quilt, and I think this is a great choice. Siren is kind of an elongated S shape. So it has a swirl, it echoes itself a couple times, but I think this is really nice, especially with the designs on the unicorns, kind of the flowiness of a mane, and that's kind of what it looks like, is the flowiness of a horse mane or something. So just a tight spiral, echoes itself, and it's done in this elongated S, and then it does one just a little lower and then a little higher, so you have that zigzag effect, so that the row next coming up underneath it kind of it nests up into there. So it's a great design because you're not going to see where one row is and the next one starts, because it's all so flowy and all spirally and really, really cute. I did use a cream color thread on this one. So why cream on this one, but I used white on something else? Cream on this one blends in better with these darker colors, this turquoise and this darker purple and then the darker green. The cream isn't so bright as a white might be. And even on the horse or on the unicorn, it's more of a white on white. You've got it on top of a purple fabric anyway, so there's a little bit of darkness coming from behind, and I didn't feel like the cream darkened the unicorn face at all. But it really blended better with the darker colors, the purples and the turquoise, rather than a white that would have stood out a little brighter on these. So it is noticeable. I mean, not that you're not going to see the quilting, but it blends in just a tad bit more. So when you see this quilt laying on a bed, when you first walk into the room, you're going to see the design. You're going to see this large unicorn in the middle. You're going to see all the beautiful colors. You're going to see the pattern in the quilt top. It's not until you get in closer that you see the secondary design or even see the color of thread. From a distance, you may see the texture around the unicorn, but not until you get in closer you're actually going to see the color of the thread, which is that cream color. So great choice on this one. You can make Siren a lot smaller with this size of quilt, the size of the unicorn. I really wanted the Siren pantograph to be in proportion to the size of the unicorn. So the Siren pantograph probably about 7 inches tall right there, and I think that really looks nice. Really nice job. Really nice job. I have 3 quilts from Sharon today, and this first one is called Peach Preserves, and this was in the June 2024 sampler box. So this pattern is not available anymore. This was done by Krista Moser. And again, I don't know if there's a certain time frame then they will be released to the public. But when a pattern comes in the Sew Sampler box, then it's exclusive to that as far as I know. So this pattern uses the Jelly and Jam Honey Bun, which is Jelly and Jam was fabric lined by Fig Tree Quilts. So a honey bun is 1.5 inch strips, so very similar to a jelly roll, which is 2.5. The honey bun is just a little skinnier with the 1.5 inch strips. And then this pattern also uses the Creative Grids 60-degree tiny diamond ruler, and that's how you're getting these diamond shapes on the quilt top here. So very, very pretty. The quilt measures 42 by 46. And I love the colors of this, very springy, and this is all done by Krista Moser. And so the pattern, you can check out some other patterns that she has done. The ruler was also created by Krista Moser, so I know that she has other patterns out that use those same rulers. So very, very cute. You're doing them in strips, and then you're cutting the diamond shape, and then putting those together so you get the star effect. Very, very pretty. Just love it. The backing fabric is a white, just a white tone on tone. Don't know if it goes with that same line or if it's something different, but either way it just works really, really nicely, a white tone on tone. So the pantograph we used on this one is called Rhapsody Feather, and this is done by My Creative Stitches. And white doesn't do well on camera. I'll see if I can hold it a certain direction so you can see it. So Rhapsody Feather. Rhapsody is a whole line of pantograph designs that My Creative Stitches has done where there's different swirls in here. And then what they do is right here, they change this motif. And so this one, they have done a feather shape. So just 3 little loops of a feather, and that creates that one. So you'll want to go on My Creative Stitches and see all the other Rhapsody lines that they have. Same base. They have hearts or stars or snowflakes or dog print, you know, a dog paw print right there, bumblebee, just a ton of different things. So the basic design is the same. It's just changing this one small motif in here that then creates whatever theme you want for your quilt. So this is Rhapsody Feather. I like the feather on this design with all the straight lines, the very angular parts to the front of this quilt. I wanted to do something swirly, but something soft as well. I like just this small little motif because you can see it in these negative spaces where you have a white diamond shape, and you can just see that little bit of a swirl, a little bit of a feather motif right there, and I really like that one. I use white thread on this one. The quilt top, very bright, has a lot of white on it, and then with the backing fabric being white, I almost always use the Omni Natural white. There is a bright white, but it has almost like a silvery sheen to it. So like if you were looking at a fresh snowfall out on a lawn, something like that, that has just a little bit of a shiny grayish, bluish tint to it. So I don't use the bright white very often. I almost always use the natural white, and that's what I used on this one. So that is Sharon's first quilt. Sharon's second quilt is just some yardage. Honestly, I don't even think it's a panel. I think this is yardage that she liked, and of the giraffe, the savanna, the wilderness thing, you know, the wilderness look here. And so it's all giraffes, all over it. And then what she has done is added a small burgundy, what do I want to say? Yeah, burgundy, almost a dark red. And then she's done a striped border all the way around the edge. Really cute. She mitered her corners even. Not hard. Not easy to do is what I meant to say. And the backing fabric is the same as that border print. So great use of yardage, you know, novelty prints that you just really like. the fabric and you want to showcase that. So that is what Sharon has done here. Her quilt measures 56 by 53, so it's actually wider than it is long. So 56 this way, 53 this way. I think on the back is where you can see the pantograph the best. This is called Woven Wind, and I did this in an almond color thread, so which is a little darker than it's like a dark tan, maybe not even a dark, so not a light tan, you know, we got such variations. Darker than a light tan, not a brown, so kind of a taupey kind of look. I thought that blended really well with the front. Actually, on the giraffes, you really can't even see the thread until you get in there close. It's more texture that you're seeing there. But here's the Woven Wind pantograph, and I like this. It kind of has a jungle animal print type of look to it. So it has three, I don't know, like 3 ribs this way, 3 ribs this way. They just intermingle. And I like this one on a safari, on an animal type print. Adds a lot to it there. This is a cream color bobbin on the back. So on the front, it's a little darker of the taupe color. I don't like so often to put different colors on the back, so like putting a red on the back, then it might have had pop throughs of the front. I really like to use my pre-wound bobbins as often as I can. I think this adds a lot of nice texture on the back, kind of gives a little, you know, more interest to the back than just the red backing, so I'm not afraid of using a cream color or a lighter color bobbin on the back, especially when we have such a dark print. I don't mind seeing the quilting. And then I wanted it to blend in with the front because you're wanting to see the giraffes, you're wanting to see the stripes, and just adding more texture on the front where then you're actually seeing the quilting on the back. I think that adds a nice effect to the back. So that is Sharon's second quilt. And Sharon's third quilt measures 86 by 86. It's again focusing on fabrics that she loves. So here we have a very large, this may be like a 24-inch yardage square right here, floral, just a very, very large square. And then next to that, she's paired that with a 4-patch of white and a green, like a sage green color, and she's just alternated that throughout the quilt. So it's very large, it's very blown up. You could see the same kind of a design if it was much smaller. You would see the Irish chain effect. You can see that a little bit in the large pieces when it's laid out. So a mauve border around the edge, and then that same floral that she's used in the center of the quilt, she's then added that as a border around the outside edge too. So again, a great use of, you've got fabrics that you really want to showcase, and then pull your colors for your other colors. You see she's pulled the mauve in for the border from these flowers here. The sage green, she's pulled off the leaves in this print. She's used that here, and then this is just a tone on tone, a white on white fabric there. So really, really nice. Then the backing fabric is a green sage. It's a different one that's on the front, more of a floral one, and then there is a large panel across the middle to make that backing large enough. So the pantograph on this one is called Paisley Flower. Didn't do this super small because we've got such a large scale of design on the quilt top. I can see my paisley flower design in these large open squares pretty well without doing it really, really small. It could have been fine small, and just kind of knowing the feel of this quilt, I felt it didn't need to be super tight. Other ones I might, just depending on the fabrics, but depending on the style of quilt, I may go tighter with this one. But this one I just felt it needed something soft, flowy, kind of keep the quilt loose and airy. So this is Paisley Flower. So you're kind of seeing it up and down when it actually stitches out left and right. So we have that flower or the feather here, and then it kind of swoops a big paisley out over those feathers. Another little feather, a couple swirls. Did this in white thread. The white matched really well with the white here, and you can see it on the greens there. But with all of this large white, I didn't want to dim those white parts by using a cream color or even a, you know, any sort of almond or tan. I didn't want to darken these white spots, so I kept it white thread on all of that. So pretty. All right, those are Sharon's 3 quilts. So I hope you enjoyed all those customer quilts today. I would love to hear what your favorite one is. So in the comments down below, if you'll just type in what's your favorite quilt that you saw today, one that inspired you or encouraged you and that you would like to make as well, or maybe it's just your favorite. I'd also super appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel. That lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content that I'm sharing with you, and even maybe pass on the video to one of your friends. That would be a super big encouragement to me as well. And just to give it a like. I'm not one of those that tells you to do that every video. I think most of us are adults and we know, but it's good to be reminded every once in a while that that making videos does take some time and does take some patience, and it is nice to know that others are enjoying it. And the best way for you to let me know that you're enjoying it, besides the personal emails that you send, and I absolutely love those, but to let YouTube know that you're enjoying the content as well, is to like and to subscribe, and that lets them know, and then it shares that information to other quilters that are on YouTube that may not have discovered this channel yet. I would super appreciate that. So I hope you're having a Merry Christmas, and I will be back here next week because every quilt is worth finishing. We'll see you then.